Hi, how's it going? This is Ronaldo Hernandez, and today I'm back with another video called How I Am Treating Constipation on Carnivore slash Keto. Alright, so first off, I want to say don't forget to like, comment the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Another thing I want to say too is that I'm not, which is going to be a disclaimer, is that I am not a licensed individual. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just a man with experience on the topic at hand. Alright, now, constipation has been a real big issue for me, and for sure, the root cause of it is because of structural pathology, something to do with like I don't want to get too into it, but I'm just like name a few things, which is like sway back posture, posterior pelvic tilt, um, and you can say just a week back, a week like back in general, posterior chain. Um, But anyways, things are getting better though, and I've been my bowel movements are actually a lot better too. It's still not like optimal, it's not like the healthiest, but it's way better than what it was before. And so I just wanted to share how I've been kind of treating this specifically with diet and supplementation while I progress more into my rehabilitation process and basically just strengthening the whole posterior chain from top to bottom. So first off, I just want to say that I did go on carnivore to relieve constipation issues, and at first, it went pretty good. I did notice the bowel movements were better, but then I noticed I started getting plugged up again, and at first I was kind of like maybe it'll resolve on its own, maybe just because I'm not eating any plants, so my body just utilizing the food more, whatever. But then it turns out, no, I was so plugged up. So one way to actually help in relieving issues with constipation on carnivore keto is to go raw carnivore basically. Once I went raw carnivore, I noticed I didn't feel as plugged up no more. I did notice my bowel movements was less frequent, but it was in a good way in the sense where I just didn't have the urge to poop anymore, and I would poop like every other day or something like that. Well, when I was eating more cooked meat on carnivore, um, I noticed that like I would actually feel plugged up. Like I felt like I was plugged up, But on raw carnivore, I don't feel plugged up, and I had less of a urge to poop. So there's like a big difference, all right? You know. Um, So raw carnivore did help with my bowel movements, but then to be honest, man, like after a while, raw carnivore it just didn't feel right anymore. Like yeah, like I guess you say you know, like I felt kind of like better, but I was still kind of feel kind of tired, and my energy level wasn't good, and I was still having issues with digestion. And I'm actually going into more depth on this, but another video. But I just want to address the constipation issue. Um, but yeah, anyways, I decided to start incorporating vegetables again, or just plants. And I say plants because I did incorporate back like fruit, to see which ones. I just wanted to see what I could tolerate, this and that. And from my experience, the best vegetables were that work for me um, is above ground high water vegetables. These are the ones that I found that didn't really flame me up, and they didn't like cause any like increase in acne. They didn't make my skin worse. My digestion was actually kind of it actually did improve in the terms of like fat absorption, to be honest. And my bowel movements were actually way better. My bowel movements improved so much. Like like I was like first off the poop smelled better. It has like a earthy, kind of like a earthy natural smell, and what you call it, um, it, it also didn't, it also just it actually felt easy to pass by too. That's what I want to say. Like it kind of made it easier to kind of just let it out. Even though like, cause on cooked carnivore, um, it was so difficult to pass by on raw carnivore. It was better, but I just feel like it could have been more efficient. It could have been a little healthier, you could say. And also on raw carnivore, like my bowel movements smelled really bad, and I mean that makes sense to the point because I was just eating meat, but I don't know, I just didn't like that smell, and to me that just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right that my food smelled like that. So then once I started incorporating these above ground vegetables, I started pooping way better. I don't feel as plugged up as anymore, and the digestion actually kind of improved in terms of fat digestion. Um, Now another thing I want to mention too is I still am taking supplements for carnivore um, keto, and the reason why that is because um, I mean first off, like we just live in a different world now. Like um, I actually got like a lot of this information from Elliot Overton, so you should check him out if you want more information on this. But I'm just kind of like give you like a summary, like a simple version of what he kind of like what he kind of goes over sometimes and this and that. And I want to say that like like we don't live in a like we live in a very toxic world now. There's a lot of stressors, environmental stressors, and there's a lot of like um there's a lot of things that could kind of give us inflammation. It's like our bodies are constantly detoxing what's around us, and that could be like heavy metals, EMF, the smog in the air, what you call it. What else is there? All the things that are in the food, the chemicals are in the food, pesticides are in the food, and even the material things. Like we just don't live in a very like healthy world anymore. Things are changing, and because of that, like our bodies are always constantly kind of working to kind of, I guess you could say, try to keep us clean from all of that. Protect us from all those stressors. And so because of that, um, your body actually needs a little bit more help, and that's where supplements come in. At first I was like kind of against them because I didn't think, oh, if you just eat a good diet, you won't need them. But from my experience, the supplements are actually really helping. And um, not only that, one especially has helped me with constipation. That's thiamine, which is B1. Now, again, I'm gonna just say like the basics of all this, but basically what thiamine does, it plays a role in like secreting digestive enzymes like along the intestinal border, the pancreas, the stomach. It helps produce hydrochloric acid, and then not only that, um, it's also involved in like intestinal motility, like in the small intestine and in the larger intestines. And then on top of that, it stimulates the vagus nerve, and basically the vagus nerve is connected with like the two like the nervous system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. But it specifically it helps you get into like relax and digest, which is a parasympathetic state of your digestive system. Um, so supplementing with thiamine actually did help with my bowel movements, and it actually did a lot more too. But in regards to constipation, it kind of did help relieve a lot of my constipation as well, and also kind of help guide me to kind of like see what I need to tweak in the diet and what modifications I could take, which is why I talked about trying a raw carnivore and also or just incorporating some type of plants again. Like I know people go on carnivore because of inability to digest plants, but in my opinion, like eventually you will need to reintroduce them or at least try to keep any one of them that you could digest because if you don't, like you're just gonna lose the ability to actually digest the plants. And I mean that might sound good at first, or you might feel even great at first, but then eventually your body's just gonna get even more sensitive to plant foods. So I suggest you just start re-implementing them again, and like try to see how it works too. Like, to be honest, I only could digest cooked plants and the cook above ground vegetables. That's the only thing I could digest properly, and it doesn't inflame me so much. Because when I try like raw vegetables, I notice that it kind of hurts my stomach. I don't feel as good, and um, I don't know. It just feels wrong. So I just try to listen to my body, and my body likes cooked vegetables, very well done, this and that. Um, and you can try fruit too, but I think with fruit is that like like I said, actually no, I didn't say this, but with fruit, it has sugar, and I mean I don't think there's nothing wrong with sugar, but the thing is like from my experience and from what I've been like learning is that sugars, carbs are mostly for healthy people, people with good digestive systems. Like if you have all these, issues right now, like you most likely can't even digest the carbs anyway. And the only reason why you're eating them is because it's for pleasure. So at this point, you just kind of have to just cut it out, experiment, or just, see if it works, see which one works. But from my experience, I do have to limit fruit. I mean, right now I'm actually cutting it out, just to see. I'm trying to cut it out for like a good period of time, and I say I'm just cutting it out right now because, like before, like my body was always craving fruit no matter what. I feel like when I eat a little bit, it actually felt really good. I felt great, but then I noticed that it's kind of like it was kind of like giving me acne, this and that. And so I'm like, all right, you know what? I actually gotta cut it out. Like I gotta cut it out. You know. And it was not only that, but I noticed that my like depending on what kind of fruit I eat, cause I was experimenting with like lots of fruits, and I think the best fruits that suited me the most was the high water ones, low in sugar. So I want to say like grapefruit, apples were actually okay. Um, I noticed I was able to tolerate like oranges and some berries. Um, But I also noticed that if I ate too much, I will start to get kind of inflamed again. And then if I ate too much for a long period of time, I start breaking out. My acne gets a little worse. But if I kept it at like a small, moderate amount, the acne wouldn't get worse. It wouldn't get better, but it wouldn't get worse. So yeah. But right now I'm just gonna cut it out because I'm kind of tired of the acne, this and that. So and I'm just curious to see how my body will look too, in terms of my skin. But yeah, I hope that helps. Yeah, I kind of want to say that carnivore it did help with constipation, but it didn't fix it. That's because I have other issues that I kind of briefly talked about in the beginning of the video. But there's still ways to kind of work around it, at least treat it, and at least try to get your bowel movements into the optimal levels you can. And so again, that would be trying out raw carnivore, incorporating back above ground vegetables, and experiment to see if you could tolerate them raw or tolerate them cooked. Another thing you can do is try supplements. Thiamine worked for me. I know some other ones too. Magnesium. I know that I forgot to talk about magnesium and electrolytes. That should have been a good thing. But um, Either way though, if you do try raw carnivore and you get both ground vegetables, like you're technically getting the electrolytes from plants, technically. And especially if you do raw carnivore, like the potassium, like you're getting it all in. You're absorbing all the food. That's one of the reasons why I did raw carnivore, was to uh, maximize my digestion capabilities. But yeah, anyways, I hope this video helped, and yeah, thank you for tuning in, and this is Fast Life.